Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. I am very excited for today's video and beer. Beer's courtesy of Ross. Thanks so much, Ross. I really appreciate it. So this is a collaboration with Revolution and Half Acre. It's called On and On Part 3. And it's a double barrel-aged stout, and which you can see why I'm already excited for it. Probably brewed only in Chicago. Probably a shot at Goose Island, I would assume. Yeah, probably down here. Okay, yeah, so 16.6% ABV. I'm recording this on a Saturday. I just got done doing everything I need to do. And yeah, so now it's time to relax. Looks like cola, a little darker, pouring out. Once it's in the glass, it definitely looks dark. It's pretty darn black with some brown in there. It's like really close to motor oil, but not quite there. A little bit of brown down here, for example, but it's close. It's a very dark beer. Let's see, got a finger of this mocha. I'll just call it mocha head. Somewhat compact bubbles. It looks like a giant stout. Let's get into the aroma. That smells awesome. You know what? I'll be able to describe things, but like it's kind of hard. Usually I get hit with something initially. Oftentimes in IPAs, for example, I get orange first. And this has some big stuff, and it's kind of hard to tell like what's the most or like the first thing I kind of pick up on. Vanilla, chocolate, definitely some spirit. It's more bourbon than like rum or something, you know, but it's still somewhat, to me anyway, generically spirit forward. The chocolate, mostly sweet in the aroma, some nice caramel, dark fruits, maybe even like a little bit of a cherry thing. So like just a lot initial, you know, sniff. I couldn't think of a more like smart sounding word. Yeah, initial me sticking my nose into it. Whisper of like a char smokiness. So after I said all that, now I'm finally getting chocolate the most, but man, that other stuff is like really there. And even though chocolate's the thing I get the most, it's not by a lot because everything else is, you know, I don't know. I don't know how to describe this. Like I said this, I said, you know, it was 40% chocolate smelling. Everything else is like 35% or whatever. I know that math doesn't check out, but it's like that. Like it's still the most predominant, but there's like all this stuff. But yet there is room for small things like that char smokiness. I don't know. It smells so awesome. I hope I'm doing it justice because like in all seriousness, I could just keep smelling it. Like the whole review, a normal length review, I could film just smelling this and kind of talking about it. What am I getting more of, less of, new things, how it's changing already, like in terms of what I'm picking up and enjoying. Like that one, I got almost coffee versus just the roasty chariness or like smoky chariness. Uptick in the vanilla from some of the other more recent sniffs. So yeah, I mean, it is chock full of, except for coconut, basically everything I can think of that I usually get in this style, I'm getting, or like can get in this style, am likely to get. But anyway, let's just taste this thing. All right. I mean, if this tastes half as good as it smells, I'm in for a treat. Cheers. Thanks again, Ross. Hope you guys are doing well. That's a real treat. Yeah, that's a real treat of a beer. Kind of like the aroma, there's just so much initially, it's like hard to process. It's just this onslaught of delicious things. And like which, you know, the intensities, the order of being able to taste them or that you are tasting them depending on what's hitting your palate at different times and what your senses are able to pick up on in real time, etc., etc. Like it's, but without being overwhelming. As I was just saying that, I'm like, I'm overwhelmed trying to keep up with how to accurately describe this, and hopefully you're not overwhelmed trying to pay attention and hear what I'm having to say. But it kind of dawned on me like, wait, does that sound like it's an overwhelming experience? that's kind of a neat thing about this. No, like it's as someone who loves beers like this is just delivering the goods, and it's just firing on all cylinders, you know. The biggest difference I got in the taste, just to kind of start off with something different, oak specifically, didn't get much of that in the aroma, you know, going back to all the things I was talking about. And it kind of makes sense with the amount of aging and barrel aging this had, I should say. That oak would be prominent, and it is. The chocolate for sure is one of the bigger things. I mean, caramelized sugar generically, but definitely a caramel, like how you think caramel tastes, caramel in this for sure. The dark fruit, berry, cherry thing, little less in the taste than I thought it was going to be based on the aroma. Said this in a couple of reviews recently. Maybe it's just like my own thing or my own vocabulary recently. The cherry and the wood are kind of working together, making me think of cherry wood. It's not smoky enough to come across like smoked, like using cherry wood to smoke something. But just more like actually what cherry wood smells like to hold it to your face and smell. Or you know, like that, but like the taste of it, like to be like, it makes me think of, I already mentioned Goose Island with the little shot at them. Or what I think is a shot at them, their cherry wood aged Bourbon County, like it kind of has that thing. And if the chocolate is, there's milk chocolate elements, there's some dark chocolate for sure. A little bit of that char roastiness kind of elevates the dark chocolate part of it. There's a cool, I love black licorice. I don't think this has enough of it that it would turn someone off who doesn't like black licorice, but I get a little bit of that. And kind of funny, that sip, I actually got an uptick on those fruity things that I was kind of downplaying. Got a little bit more of them, but it was really the little pop of the thing that I perceived as licorice that kind of got me excited the most, that sip. Good amount of vanilla, that sip also. It really is. I mean, it's just like, I'm trying to think of a succinct way of putting it. It's just there's so many flavors popping off, you know, and they're really landing. And even though, like, this is a beer, I try not to age canned beer for very long, but if this was in bottles, like, not that this is not a harmonious experience, but this is, I think, one of those beers that would age really well, because some of this stuff, you know, it's like a beautiful fireworks display, right? So it's like each one's a different color, each flavor's coming through, it all looks beautiful, it all tastes, you know, beautiful. But I think some age would meld the things together even more cohesively, and this is already a cohesive experience. And not that there's really any, like, you know, jagged edges or whatever, but like round out some edges and stuff. Like, if it's drinking this great already, and it was only canned, what was it, January, right? Yeah, January, so it's like 4 months old at time of review. But they stay to age it for about a year and a half is all. But yeah, no, let me give you one more sip. This is really good. Oh, here's kind of an obvious thing I should have been talking about too. An appropriate way to end this. I do get some of the alcohol. I mean, it is over 16%, but it's interwoven nicely. It definitely fits the style and all the big flavors. There's so many big flavors in this beer that the alcohol doesn't dominate or anything. It's because I love the flavors in this so much, I could drink this somewhat quickly, but there is enough of the alcohol taste that reminds me, like, oh no, this is a bigger beer, like just keep sipping it, you know, and like I want to be sipping it, and it is definitely a sipper of a beer. But yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, so thanks again, Ross. I really appreciate it. If you guys had this one before, if you had anything from either brewery lately, you want to talk about anything, everything, comment section below. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.